Hi Maggie, hi Tori. Let me pull this up in full screen so that you can see it well. And then I'm also going to refresh the page so that we can get all the animations going. So this is my front page website mock-up for creating positive futures, obviously. So I just kind of want to dive into all the reasoning as to why I designed the page this way. There's a lot of reasoning behind it. So I'll just get going. So first of all, starting off, you have obviously the main menu bar. I heard in the video that Maggie, that you didn't like the secondary menu bar that's in the draft front page right now. So I wanted to get rid of that. I also just prefer when a menu bar is really simplistic and minimal, not too much going on, not too overwhelming. So that's what I like about this one, is it's super minimal and it's not overwhelming in any way. So we've got the white, just the very simple menu bar without the secondary menu. Okay, so that's kind of more relevant, but we'll dive into the design now. So first I want to start off with saying I'm huge into market research and kind of putting the design and the marketing elements all together. So right now, for some reason, imagery is so huge. So consumers are loving illustrations, any kind of illustration or animation, and that's kind of all that they are looking for right now. So essentially, when you have a consumer come to your website, your goal obviously is for them not to leave the page immediately. You want them to click around, you want them to actually engage in your buttons and sign up for things. So the key to that is finding the healthy balance of too much text or too much imagery. So I know that Maggie talked about this a little bit in your video, talking about how the homepage should have way more content due to SEO. So everyone will tell you that content is king and that you need tons of content to get that good SEO going. I don't entirely agree. Of course, you do need to have quite a bit of content on your homepage. That is true, and I would personally recommend having your homepage be longer than all of your other pages. Um, that way, it really keeps people engaged when they go to your other pages. They want to get a lot of that information on the homepage so that they don't have to click around too much. So essentially, having too much text is going to overwhelm people, and then they're going to immediately click off. They're not going to want to read anything. But having too much imagery, then you don't get to pull as many keywords for the SEO, and you're not going to be as highly scored on Google. So finding that healthy balance, I personally believe, has to do with a lot of imagery and incorporating that imagery with the text. So I think those are the reasons why illustration is so big right now. I wanted to include this illustration. Obviously, it definitely pertains to the subject matter of your company. You have the books and the students learning, and so I love that. It also goes along with your brand colors with the orangey, yellowy, and the teal, green / blue color. So I loved that. And then I think if you look at huge companies right now, this is the design that they're using. So these are the popular modern designs. This is what people are doing in 2019. And that just comes from me having done research in the past and me working with different types of companies and seeing what consumers in different marketing areas in different fields are looking for. So I think like the struggle with something like this is not to keep it, you don't want it to look too girly. So I know you love the script font, which I absolutely adore as well, but I think for your field, you want to keep it more academic. So you want to avoid kind of that girly style, and also try to target the consumers that aren't as girly as well. So that can be a struggle as well with the illustration, is trying not to keep it too girly in the imagery. Um, so I think this illustration right here does a really good job of that. Then you have this little abstract background that I did. So another reason why I did that is abstract is huge right now also. So, I mean, if you even walked into Target right now and went and bought a planner, you'd see abstract art or abstract line art kind of blobs here and there all over everything. So popular right now, and that's what all the big companies are using in their marketing and in their designs. Also big time in their social media. It's huge on Instagram. So then we'll finally move down the page. You can see the little animations we've got going with the icons. So I used your icons. I loved the icons that you guys had. So this is kind of an informational section about who you guys are, and just kind of little snippets. I took these from the original website just because I didn't want anything to be wrong if I wrote something differently. So I figured you guys know your company much better than I do. So just took the content from there. So the good thing about this area is this is what I was talking about, including a good amount of text to draw in the SEO, but also having the imagery. So you have the background very minimal white so that it's not too distracting. You can still read everything. I also included a white background on this icon so that it wouldn't get lost in the pillow here. But then also kind of, if you look at it and think of it this way, almost like this whole little module here is kind of imagery in and of itself. It sticks out, it's 3D. It just is really clean and kind of draws your eye to these little modules. So this is a good way to incorporate text, but also not be overwhelming to the consumer. So imagine if you had laid all of these text bullet points just out stacked right here, just all right there. That would be super overwhelming for someone to read. They'd have to read, 4 different bullet points just in a row, versus this is a lot more fun. They're like, oh, okay, here's one over here, here's one over here, and they go with the icons and they have the keywords. So that's really going to be helpful in actually getting people to read your text and getting them to actually engage with the content. So you want them to be clicking these buttons. You want them to read this and then, oh, I want to go and learn more about these programs. Okay, moving down. So now we have got the little banner area about your team. So Maggie, I know you kind of hit on in the video, you didn't want it to look like it was all about you. So I think typically when you go to a web page and you see immediately the owner's face pop up or something like that, or a cutout of the owner, it's almost a little too much. It's a little too in your face. It looks a little salesy, and I think that's what we want to avoid. I think it's awesome to be hitting on hitting on your team more than you would on yourself. I think it's important to include yourself, and we'll get to that in a second. But having this little section about your team here is just really gonna make your brand more trustworthy, because this image was amazing. I love that you guys did the photo shoot, and this looks like a total stock image, right? So I actually went in and did some editing on this photo because I wanted it to look more like a stock photo in the actual coloring and the brightness. So I went and I brightened the white areas, added some more color on you guys, of course, and then the areas that needed a little more color here in the pencils and then this painting. So that it really looks like a stock photo, but then also that's actually you guys that work for the company. So that's super relatable, and people can really connect with the fact that they're seeing your team members on your page. So you got your little snippet here about your team. Once again, not too girly, but we did include that script there because it's super cute. And then of course you want them to click your Meet Your Team button. That'll take them to the Meet the Team page that's in the menu bar. So scrolling down more, So I totally agreed with you, Maggie, that I'm not a big fan of having the big testimonials laid out one by one. I think that's going to be confusing for people, and then also they're not going to want to read that much text. So having this smaller version of the testimonials where they're all in one place is super helpful. Once again, you've got just like up here, you've got the little module areas that are super helpful and make it more about the imagery than the actual text. So that's going to draw your consumers to actually read these and look at your testimonials. And then of course, if you ever wanted to add more, we can just add a little arrow right here where you can flip through them and more will come up. All right, going down a little bit more. So here is what I was talking about earlier about you do still want to include yourself. You want to focus on your team, but we definitely want to have you at some point on the page. This is what's gonna make it really personable to consumers. Is they want to see a picture of you. You know, they want to get to know you. They want to know who you are, and that's what's gonna make them trust your brand. So including this little snippet about yourself, I think having these right here to kind of validate that this is legit is a really good thing, and it looks super professional and put together. And will just really help people connect with your brand all that much more. So now we have this little call to action here where I actually just put the contact form directly onto the page. I figured why have a button that takes you to where you can fill out a time when you could just do it right here. So they're ready to get started. Schedule now for your free call. So they can literally just do that right on the page and it would be sent straight to you guys. And then once again, having that abstract imagery here that consumers are loving right now, according to market research. And then scrolling down to the footer. So the footer I wanted to keep super minimal, just like the main menu bar. I think my goal there was when you had said in the video, oh, there's too much in the footer on the current home page. And so I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. I knew that you just wanted those key points with the email opt-in. I added the social media. A lot of people like to include socials in their footer, so that you don't have to insert them on all the different pages. They'll just be there in the footer for every single page. That way consumers know exactly where to find your social media if they want to check out where you are on Facebook or Instagram, something. So keeping it minimal, not too crazy, and then including your logo, of course. I love that you guys had that extra footer logo in that file. And so I think that's about it. Otherwise, yeah, I love this. It was super fun. And I hope you guys like it too. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I hope that this is a good explanation of everything and that you understood everything that I was saying. But if not, if you guys have any questions, just let me know and I will look forward to getting in touch with you guys more. Thanks so much. Bye.